Good evening, Demon Phil here with the DemoNation, and we are about to start up a hell of a show. But first off, want to make sure you can see and hear me on here. If you'll let me know you can do that, please. And let's get those shares going. We will get started in just a couple of minutes here. So if you will go ahead and let me know that you can see and hear me, I'd certainly appreciate that. And we will get going here very shortly. Appreciate everyone that's being here right now. We've actually got quite a few people in here already. And looks like we are increasing numbers as we're going along, which is great. So again, if you'll let me know you can see and hear me, and we will keep going with this. And let's get those shares out there. We have already got Dan is in here. Appreciate you being here, Dan. RPG, listening while you cook. Sorah fan. Hey, who's not a Sorah fan? And Max says, hey, if you want, I'd love to jump on and promote my comic book on a different show. We can do that. It's always about the guest that's on here, but definitely look me up and we can get you scheduled in at some point on there for certain. All right, so let's make sure everything is set up on my end over here. It looks like everything's good. And let's see. All right, we can see and hear me good. Let's get those shares going on here. We'll get started in just a minute or so. Joshua Main, Guest Relations is here. Hello, everybody on YouTube. And yeah, I hear you. Facebook is lagging. I know there's something going on. I noticed that just recently on that. All right, very cool. All right, we are official on here. I'll make it official. DemoNation is live with hell of a show here tonight. We got a hell of a guest with us here, and we usually do every single time. Tonight is going to be one that I've been looking forward to for quite some time. But before we get started, I do have some sponsors that I like to thank on this because it is nice to have sponsors. So first up, we have Totally Rad Comics, which is Jimmy Noble. Right now, he doesn't have anything live on Kickstarter yet, but he is about to, I believe, the end of this week. He is going to have the Evil Rad series, Neon, which is Giovanni Baronda's comic, will be on there as well, and then one other one that I cannot remember the name of just yet. I believe it's Totally Rad Life of Violet 4, but I'm not sure. So if you're here, Jim, let me know, or Giovanni, let me know. And Rob Schiff is here. Thank you for being here, Rob. And we've got Codex Entertainment, which is Luis Torres. Luis Torres doesn't have anything available right now on Kickstarter. I believe he's waiting until the new year to do some stuff, but he has got some amazing things lined up. Do not miss out on that. 183 Degree Studio, which is Kara Nicole, Alfred Trujillo. They just finished up with the Cause Lingerie calendar, which is now on Indiegogo in demand. So if you didn't get it on the Kickstarter, you have one last chance to get it over there. But also Fire Bitch 2 should be releasing sometime very soon. As soon as I find out the exact date on that, I will let everyone else know on that one. And Naughty Fairies, which is Wendy Steen Shaner. She doesn't have anything currently in her own stable going right now. However, see that right there? Comic Unity 2020. That is going on right now. It's in its last, I want to say 1 day left, is I believe all it has. But if you have not gotten in on that event, go check it out. You do not want to miss out on that one. And we've got a couple more here. We've got Nine Realms Publishing, which has got Elysian Fields Pyramid Gambit on Indiegogo right now. If you like history, if you like mythology, if you like arena battles, then this is the one for you. If you are bound by military honor, then this is another one for you. Trust me, go check it out. You'll see what I mean. Belial 2 launches tomorrow. Chuck Pinot and Sean Barbour. So Belial 2, make mine a double. Don't miss out on that one. If you don't know anything about that one, you haven't been paying attention to social media because it's all over the place right now. And Lone Wolf Comics has got Night Wolf trade paperback coming out on the 19th of this month. Do not miss out on that one. We've got a lot of fun things coming out with that one. All right, so there's all my sponsors. We are set up with that. So here we go. We're going to start this off with my guest up here because you're tired of seeing my ugly mug. It's time to make this thing a little bit better looking. So here is Sorah Sungh.
Hi.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Hey, I appreciate you being here. I've been looking forward to this for quite some time.
I know we had some scheduling issues before. 2020 was weird.
We will blame it on 2020. That sounds like a great thing to me.
Yes.
Now, before we get to delving directly into this and everything, for anyone that's out there in the audience who doesn't know who you are, if you'll go ahead and briefly let them know who you are, what you're doing, where to find you.
Hello, my name is Sorah. I feel like I'm in the front of the class. Like everybody to say something about yourselves. I started drawing when I was like 3. No. So I'm Sorah. I'm an artist. I guess I can count myself as a writer now. It feels weird saying that, but I'm a writer and an artist first, I suppose. I mostly cover work. I've done a lot of stuff related to death and a bunch of other things that I can't name right now because I'm still in a NyQuil fog. And then I'm doing my own books. I'm the creator and writer of Carnal Confessions and the creator and co-writer of Aurora, which had 2 successful Kickstarter campaigns in the last year. And I'm currently working with my writing partner, Wes Knipe and Georgia Sposito on the 2nd book for Aurora, as I'm continuously working on Carnal via my Patreon, which is patreon.com/my name, Sorah Sungh.
Excellent. And we've already got, I knew it was coming. I just didn't realize it was going to be that fast.
Yep, pepper.
Joshua Main is yelling, pepper, pepper. Oh, wait, Sorah, Sorah.
Hold on. I will get the anointed one here. He's being so slow.
Sorah, but where's Brett? Which is true, because normally Brett is in everything that we do.
He's off camera. The overseer is off camera. Hold on. Come here.
Brett's hand in the green room, so I know he's there.
All right, everybody. And here is the con famous Poops. Pepper. Hi, Poops. Hello, Poops.
Okay. That is the rat catcher himself right there.
Oh my God, we found a dead rat on the back patio, but I don't think Pepper killed it. It just like suicided on our freaking patio. Like it was weird. Because like we don't put out like poison stuff or anything. So I was just like, I don't know what happened. Anyways, yeah.
They know that house is protected now. So they're like, no, there's a dog there. We ain't messing with that one.
Yeah. And he knows it's actually pretty cool because he gets worked up when he sees a chipmunk, but he won't chase it, which I'm glad because I'm like, chipmunks can live. They're fine. So anyways, we shouldn't have too much of a problem now that the winter is coming. So like the garden's kaput. So what are you going to do?
Now, of course, everyone is happy they saw Pepper for one thing. So Rob is appeased on this one. And so is guest relations Joshua Main on that. So I think we'll be okay on this one now.
Hold on, Rob Schiff. That's the guy who's constantly talking about your beard. You need to come say hi.
Hello.
You say hello and show off the glorious beard.
Here we go. What's happening, Brett?
You're on the sidelines.
RPG says, yay, Pep. So everybody's excited to see Pepper on this one. I'm going to ask you because it is the season right now because we are officially in the fun month. I love this month because I am so ready for the end of this month with Halloween and all.
Yes.
So my question to you is, what is one of your favorite Halloween movies?
I just made Phoebe, my god mod. She and I just made Brett watch Cabin in the Woods, which is actually one of my favorites because I'm usually not a huge Joss Whedon fan. I know I'm weird like that, but I think he just like it was so meta. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was genuinely funny and clever. So that's one of them. I think another. I mean, is Nightmare Before Christmas a Christmas movie or is it a Halloween movie?
Yes.
Okay. That's another one. Trying to think of like genuinely speaking. The thing is, I grew up in Korea and I watched a lot of Asian horror growing up. So like a lot of the stuff that I watched is more like psychological thrillers and they are like jump scare stuff. Like jump scares are cheap to me. I much prefer when things get into your head. I think overall though, the thing that really messed me up for a while as an adult, like I was married. It was the Marble Hornet was something. It was the Slender Man series on YouTube. Oh my God, that thing like scrolled its way into my head. I like couldn't stop watching and I got so freaked out. And I know the origin of Slender Man, like as in like the creative origin of Slender Man, like it was on Creepypasta and like whatever. But like I know it's bullshit, but like it got into my head so bad that I literally could not sleep with the lights off for 2 days. And I had at the time, I mean, he's my ex-husband now, but I had my husband at the time close the vents in the house, like all the air conditioning vents. Like, it was so stupid. But yeah, it freaked me out. So I would say anything Slender Man freaks me out.
That is one way of taking care of it. Just go ahead and close off all the air, and that way it takes care of the problem, right?
Well, I just kept thinking like his like creepy like finger things are gonna come through the air vents. It was so dumb. I felt like a child. Although I don't know if you saw my post the other day. I was working and I had the window right above my head, and I swear to God, a small child said, "I can see you." And I was like, "Oh, hell no." I was like, closed the windows and locked everything. So not that I believe in like ghosts or anything, but yeah, there you go.
Well, we will keep that in mind. If you start yelling about some other kids yelling at you during different things, that might be something that you want to put into some of your future comics that you might want to come out with.
Creepy kids. I don't know. The thing is, I like horror, but I don't think I can write horror. Like my buddy Wes Snipe is a horror fanatic. Like he has a very successful podcast that he does on horror and old horror movies. And then he does like live readings of horror comics. And then he also writes articles for like, I can't remember the website, but it's like a big horror website or whatever. Like, so I feel like anything I would do would pale in comparison to like people who are much more versed in this shit. So I'm like, no, I get creeped out by YouTube videos. Like I'm a baby. So whatever.
Well, it's that realism factor that kind of really throws you off at that point, because it's not, all of the glory that you have within the movies and everything. It's actually something that somebody's doing from, regular camera or whatever, really freaks you out, because it's something that could actually happen, is what your mind contemplates it as.
Yeah, even though I knew where it came from, though, it was so dumb. I'm okay with it. I should rewatch it since it's Halloween season. So.
And Joshua says, creepy children checking in on Sorah. That is, yep, exactly.
Seriously. Well, I just kept thinking about like the Blair Witch Project. Remember, like when they're in their tent and all the the little kids are laughing, and you see the hands on the tent. Like that's. I'm ridiculous. Is my point. I love horror, but I'm a little girl with it. So what are you gonna
do? That's okay. We will let that go.
Thank you.
Now let me ask you this: what comics kind of influenced you, both growing up and in your stuff that you're doing now and what you're producing?
I mean, I read mostly. Oh well, when I was a kid, I read all Marvel. I never read DC. Don't hate me, DC. I never read. I mean, I was a huge fan conceptually of like Batman and Gotham, and I watched the animated show, like the original animated show. But I originally started watching the X-Men cartoon on Fox. And that's what really got me into it. I have an older brother, and he read comics, and then I read his comics, and then I read comics on my own, but it was mostly X-Men, Marvel. And it was Marvel, but mostly X-Men. And it was never in order. Like I never read like books in order, like ever. It was always whatever the heck I had available to me. Cause I lived in Korea. So it was like really limited to whatever they had in the on-base bookstore. And anyway, so growing up, that's a lot of stuff I read. I also read Top Cow, and that was when I was in college, right out of high school. And Michael Turner's artwork is what initially made me look and go, oh, I want to draw like him. I mean, not that I think that my art looks like his now, because it doesn't, but I was definitely heavily influenced by him and his creative efforts, and also artistically Mark Silvestri, and then I've actually got to meet quite a few people who have influenced me, like in during my career, especially when I was an apprentice. Like I got to meet he's now my buddy, Sean Chen and Ron Lim and Bernard Chang. I know it sounds like all Asians, but I swear to God, that's not my fault. It's just that my mentor really apparently likes to mentor Asian artists. But so writing wise, Chris Claremont, obviously, because X-Men. And then, like I said, a lot of stuff that Turner was doing, especially, and then when he started Aspen, I was reading that stuff. But the unfortunate reality of like making comics now, especially as an artist and a writer, is like I just don't have time to read anymore, and it's shameful. Like I have a whole stack of Captain America comics that I've read like maybe half of it. I got the entire run, and whose name, because my head's a fog still, I can't think of it, and I know the guy who is the artist on it. Jesus, Ed Brubaker. No, is it Brubaker? Whatever. Anyways, yeah, I can't. It is okay. Yeah. Anyhow, so I have like that entire run, and I've only read half. It's awful. Like it sucks. It's awesome working in comics, but it sucks because you can't like enjoy the product anymore, because it's like, who's got the time? It's so unfortunate. So I will go out of my way to read stuff that my friends have done because, you know, they're my buddies and I will read that. But even then, I'm not like the most diligent at it. I'm so sorry. Don't hate me.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing at all. Now I got to take care of a little personal business here real quick because this is my girlfriend. Welcome to the show. That was for her, not for you. I don't want Brett to get upset over there.
Oh, he'd be upset. No, Pepper would get upset. All kisses belong to him.
Exactly. So. Hold back, Pepper. Anvu is asking, and let me go ahead and say real quick, Anvu is actually the girl with the hatchet. Let's just go ahead and put it right out there because if you haven't seen Unscripted from this past weekend, that's the girl with the hatchet. Just
it's so funny. I actually have a friend named Anvu. That's obviously not the same Anvu. I thought it was when they spoke earlier in the chat. I was like, oh, Anvu's online. Oh, wrong Anvu. Okay, crazy. That's so weird. Sorry.
And she's asking if you are SES, SAM, or SAHS kid.
I don't know what those acronyms are.
I don't know either. I thought I didn't know if you knew.
SAES. I have no idea. I'm so bad. What is that? I'm so sorry.
Clarification on that, please. I was hoping you knew on that one because I don't have my decoder ring out of storage just yet.
Maybe I should know it, but again, brain's in a fog. So I blame NyQuil. So
hey, that's okay. We can blame it all. Just blame 2020. That's what we're gonna blame on blame everything on 2020. We're good.
The school's on base. Oh. No, I wasn't at Yongsan. No, I was at Osan. So yeah, I only went to Osan. I never went to camp. They moved Yongsan to Camp Humphreys recently. Yeah, and I went to Osan Elementary and then Osan High School, although it was 7 through 12, and I was only there till 8th grade. Then I went to Japan and I went to Yokota, and I was there for a year, my freshman year of high school, and then I moved to the States, and I've been here ever since, for better or for worse.
Very cool. Now, let me ask you this because, you've done quite a bit within the industry and whatnot, and you're getting more and more out there with some things. So give me a brief, what is your origin story? How did you get involved into working in the industry?
Oh, it's totally random. I have the most cliche backstory. Well, for one, I was playing a video game, to go to the roots of it. I was playing a video game at the time called City of Heroes and City of Villains, which was superhero based. And I started drawing my own characters, and then my guild, they're not called guilds on there, but guild members wanted me to draw their characters. So I did that. And then strangers would come up to me and they were like, hey, I'll give you money to draw my character. And I was like, cool. And then I was like, oh, that's fun. And then at the time I broke up with my boyfriend and I went back to school. This is in college. And I had the luxury of doing that. I was on scholarship. So I just took a year off. I was like, fuck it, whatever. And then I'd missed matriculation to get back into school that semester. So I was working at a Starbucks, which started my lifelong love affair with coffee. And my very first day of working at Starbucks, which was right around the corner of my house, my manager was sitting me down going, hey, I was already hired, but she was like, so what do you want to do with your life? Because at the time, nobody aspired to be a barista. And I was like, I want to be a comic book artist. And I had no idea about anything behind the scenes. I'd read books, I knew properties, but I knew nothing about what it takes to make I didn't know what a penciler was. I didn't know what an inker was. I didn't know there was an inker. I didn't know what that was. I didn't know nothing. And I was 20? I was 20 and completely ignorant. And then some guy walked in and they chit-chatted for 2 seconds as I'm in the middle of my onboarding. And then he leaves. And then she goes, yeah, he's a regular here. He's apparently some famous comic book guy. And I was like, what? And I didn't know his name because I didn't know anybody's name other than Michael Turner and Mark Silvestri's name because I liked their artwork. So I ended up going home and Googling Bob Layton. And I was like, oh, shit. And so I tried to, it was so funny because everybody thinks I'm really, ballsy and enthusiastic and just I'm not shy, but I'm actually quite shy. And And so it's for 2 months, because he came in every day. So for 2 months, I'm like desperately trying to get the balls to like talk to him, and I don't. And God bless my manager, because and I don't know her name anymore because it's been too long. But she finally got sick of me like pussyfooting around it, and so she just talked to him for me. And so the next time that he came in, he was like, "So I heard that you want to be a comic book artist," and I was like, "Yeah." Yeah, I do. And he's like, cool. And then we talked for a little bit. And then he was like, why don't you meet me? He's like, when's your next day off? And it was the next day. He's like, okay, cool. Bring your portfolio and I'll give you a portfolio review. And I was like, okay, cool. Again, I don't really understand the gravity of what's happening. I'm just like going along for the ride. And so I, walked my happy ass to Starbucks the next day with my janky ass little drawings and whatever. And, he like blew my mind with a quick little lesson in like 20 minutes. And then he was like, hey, if you're interested, I can bring you on as my apprentice, and we'll go from there. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, I'm just like, I don't know what's happening. So he did a really good job. I mean, I'm probably one of the last people to get that kind of apprentice mentorship style of getting into comics, because it used to be the common thing, but I don't think it's as common as it was. And especially since online and everybody's scattered, and but before, people used to like hub into places. And so mine was completely happenstance, and I literally got discovered in the coffee shop. So like, it's the most cliche thing on the planet. So
now you've worked on multiple projects. I mean, not just, single companies, anything like that. It's a whole bunch of different projects. You've done different things. I've actually gotten quite a few of your covers on different projects that you've done, just because they stand out. They have a little more, I don't know what it is exactly about them. They just, the way that they're drawn and the way that they have just the way, I don't know, they speak to me a little bit different. I don't know exactly how else to put it, to be honest, but they do, they draw you to them. My point is you've done so much for other people and everything, and yet you've got your own things that you do as well. And you've already mentioned with Aurora that you do, you're working on that.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, Carnal Confessions.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to go ahead and get you to go ahead and talk about Aurora first. Let us know basically, what's the overall pitch on that one, what it's about and all, and then we'll kind of go through the list on here and find out more about each one.
Okay, sure. Well, Aurora was a story that I did Carnal first, but Aurora was a story that I said to myself after Carnal was so successful on Kickstarter, I wanted to take the profits from that and pump it into another project, which I did. And Aurora was, she's my love song to superhero comics, but she has an element to her that I felt was missing in a lot of the things that I read as a child. And I think that stems from, the way that at the time Western comics were so focused on their messaging at the time versus what I was used to growing up in Korea and Japan. And I watched a lot of anime, and I watched a lot of female-led anime. So there is in a lot of anime that I grew up with, there was no negativity towards anything that was feminine. Femininity was considered to be a powerful force in a lot of stuff that I watched. And so I didn't really like how a lot of these great, strong female characters that I loved growing up, with the X-Men ladies and Captain Marvel, etc. It's like, it was almost like it's like, what's what I'm looking for? It was almost like to be as strong as the men, they had to be masculine. And I didn't like that. And I'm still not crazy about it. And so I wanted to create a character and write a character that femininity and softness and, these things that are usually associated with, negatively with femininity, were seen as a source of strength. And so hilariously, the very first cover that I did for the book, I'm working on it, and I'm talking to Kate, the colorist, on the phone, and she's like, and I'm talking to her about the project and all this other stuff, and she's like, yeah, you're kind of giving me like a little bit of a Sailor Moony vibe. And I was like, yes. And I was like, oh my God, I realized that I accidentally, in the recesses of my mind, drew a pose, not the same, but very similar to a Sailor Moon pose. And I went, crap. So I was like, should I change it? She's like, nah, lean into it. So we did. But I wanted something where it's like, I mean, as cheesy as it sounds, it's like something that's like the power of, care and softness and love being very, very important to how the character is. So it's the way that I describe Aurora is like if Sailor Moon met Captain America and had a baby. is kind of like my short little elevator pitch there. So, but they're dealing with a world where it's kind of like a what if alternate history. There was no atom bomb development. Instead, superheroes were discovered and developed through nations. So there was this thing called the Keeper Wars, where every country was like hoarding and developing all these superheroes to battle it out. And so now we're dealing in the post Keeper War era, where there's supposedly this, harmony and peace with the United Nations and stuff. But really, there's all this like political intrigue and crap, and it's all fun. It's really fun. So.
Very cool. Now we're going to get into Carnal Confessions. However, very quickly, I want to bring this back up because Philip Russert says, "Hi, Sorah."
Hi, Philip.
And I want to go ahead and bring up very quickly, just a quick interruption here, because today is Philip Russert's birthday.
I did say happy birthday to him. Yeah. I already said
we could sing, but my voice would absolutely get us booted for sure. So I'm not going to go to that effort on there. However, what I would like for everyone to do, if you will, please, he is a fellow host. He actually hosts some shows. He has Creator Con. He does a lot of really great stuff within the industry. Go to his page. Use that name right there. He loves Nightcrawler from the X-Men. Send him as much Nightcrawler as you possibly can. Tell him happy birthday. Tag me in it if you want to, so I can see some of this stuff, because I'm going to be going back to his page to look anyway. But I have a special happy birthday that I'll be sending to him after the show, because I got to get him back for my birthday. So make sure you go wish him happy birthday. But I wanted to make sure that I got that out there. So I apologize for the interruption on there, but I need to let him know.
That's okay.
Now, that being said, we're up to Carnal Confessions. What is Carnal Confessions? What is the major draw to that one?
Carnal Confessions actually started out as it's not a comic book, it's illustrated prose. So you get, in the entire story, you get about a comic, or you actually get a small graphic novel's worth of artwork. So, but most of it is words. I wanted to write it in such a way that it was like a bridge between comic books and novels. So it's an easy read. It's fun to read. It's dialogue heavy. Although sometimes I get a little bit too rambunctious with my descriptions, and my editor Jen is like, "You're writing like an artist. Calm it down." And I'm like, "Okay." But Carnal actually started out. It's a prequel story to a project that I had been working on since a story I had been working on since I was about 19, 20 years old. So it's always been a little bit of my end goal to put this story out there. I just didn't think I was going to get to it as quickly as I did. I really didn't. I started doing it as as an exercise. I offered it for free on a website that I built, saying every month I'll post this on the 25th, and you want to read, go for it. So like when we did the Kickstarter, it was a bit of a crapshoot. We had no idea how anyone was going to react to it, and it did really well. But Carnal is a sci-fi, which I love science fiction. So it's a sci-fi story with some, meta abilities and things. But it's all about an interdimensional society. It's called the Dominion, and it's an interdimensional society that goes around cleansing different dimensions and planets of what they consider like their sins, kind of a thing. In the sense that like they, it's. This is going to sound really messed up, but it's like liberal Nazis. Like, I don't know how to describe it other than that. They're like, we're going to get rid of homelessness by force. We're going to get rid of hunger by force. Like everything is just like, horribly by force, but it's all like really good goals. So they're very Machiavellian, and she is the leader of the Dominion Intelligence Agency, and she's the castress. That's kind of like their CIA. She does all the dirty business. So like there's like this good wholesome front to the government, but she's the dark underbelly, and she revels in this effort. And but she's a villain. I wanted to always write a villain story that was unapologetic and that just, reveled in their story arc, because I felt like a lot of the villainous stories that we ended up getting were always like, there was some kind of redemption arc. And I'm like, no, Carnal has no redemption arc. She's just Carnal. And the first book that I put out, which is the origin story, that and it's not the origin story of her necessarily, it's the origin story of how she gets her name, because for the majority of the book, spoiler alert, the majority of the book, she's actually called by her given name, which is Catherine Moore. And it's all about how she ends up getting the call sign and the name of Carnal Sin. And which was not a great situation is how she got it. But anyways, so it's currently ongoing. I'm excited about it. We are in the second book, which is called Neros, and it's all about, you know, expanding the world in terms of like the fourth dimensional beings and the dimensional travel and the saucy factor. So the first book, hilariously, is actually not that saucy. The second book is pretty saucy. So it's just like sauce everywhere. So there you go.
And it's a lot of fun to read. It is I'm saying this without spoilers, but it's got one of those that whenever you're going along, if you think that you understand what's going to be happening with it, you don't. Trust me. You have no, I try to go through it thinking I'm going to catch on to what's going on with it, and she'll throw you for a loop on there, and it's like, wait a minute, where'd that come from? That was far out of left field there. That was not even around there. So it's interesting. It's very interesting. And we have Mike DeBalfo's here, wants to know, how saucy is it?
It's very saucy, Mike. You know this. You know this well. One of our favorite guest artists who does covers for us is Mike DeBalfo. He's done 2 covers, although one's not been released yet, for Carnal, and he's going to do another one for Carnal, hopefully. And then he did 2 covers for Aurora, and he's amazing and he's awesome. But I'm going to make him draw a sexy lady and a sexy guy for me next time. So
there you go.
Well, because he always gets asked to draw chicks, and I'm like, he draws such hot dudes. I mean, why not both? Like, why not? I am an equal opportunity exploiter of sexiness, is my point.
There you go. And somehow you ended up on my show. I don't understand how that happened, but okay. Now, in talking about how saucy it is and everything, Saints and Sinners, because that's the next big thing that's coming out, and that is coming out the 21st, I believe, is whenever it's coming.
Next Wednesday. I'm running out of time. It's next Wednesday. I'm like, there's so many things going on right now, and I'm just like, Saints. Yeah, God, you'd be surprised how hard we struggled coming up with a title. Like, there was like so many Daleks. There's so many iterations. I crowdsourced with my friends who are all very clever and all punny, and I mean, including God Mod Phoebe, who's like the best at puns, and we couldn't come up with anything. So I was like, fuck it, it'll just be my name and then the subtitle. So that's my level of creativity on that. But Saints and Sinners, I figured it's all going to be about, it's all, you know, heroes and villains, and so I was like, Saints and Sinners, and we can designate them a little that way or whatever. But I already came up with my next art book titles. Should we tell them? No, I can't tell you. Sorry.
Okay.
No.
I heard that we were vetoed over there on the side. I heard that. You said on Wednesday, correct?
Yeah, it's next Wednesday. It's going to be launching at 9 p.m. Eastern, right? 9 p.m. Eastern? Yeah. So. Okay. I'm in the process of Kate's coloring the covers right now. She said I'm gonna have 3 covers. Do you want me to show them? I'll tease one of them. Well, I will mention that because you asked me about who inspired me to get into artwork and into comics and stuff, and the big one I said was Michael Turner. So my very first art book, because this is my very first art book I've ever done, is basically the covers are homages to Michael Turner. So this is the first one.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that I'm doing. And Kate colored it. It looks amazing. That one's done, and I'm waiting on the other 2 from her. But we're gonna have some really fun options on the Kickstarter, including sketch opportunities, and another big one that Brett came up with that I can't tell you yet, but I will tell you guys in the Discord later. But he came up with a really cool idea. It's gonna be one of the price. I can tell him? Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, see, Steph, he's not always a party pooper. So basically, we're going to offer, I don't know how many of these we're going to offer, but we're going to offer a one-of-one cover opportunity. So basically, you get to tell me what character to draw. I will draw this character, get Kate to color it, and then we're going to print it on the book, and it'll be a one-of-one, and you get the original art with that book printed.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's going to be I don't think he's priced it yet, but it's going to be a little on the pricier side because you do end up getting original art and Kate professionally coloring it. So but it's I'm excited about that one.
Very nice. That actually sounds incredibly interesting because, like you said, one of one, but you get the original art and everything. So it's
and you get to tell me who to draw. So you want me to draw Black Cat? I'll draw Black Cat. The only person I will not draw is Lady of Death because I don't want to make Brian mad.
right.
And we love Brian. Yeah, we can't print that cover. But yeah, you want me to draw Black Cat? You want me to draw Wonder Woman? Whatever. It'll be a little sketch thing, and then, or it'll be a full cover, pinup. And then Kate will get it colored and then we'll print it out.
Very cool. And Steph says, is that the $1 million tier?
Sounds good. All I need is one backer. That's it. Just a $1 million backer and then I'm done.
And Tanya is asking, can you do two artists together?
Meaning
Two
you?
characters, maybe?
Maybe she's saying you.
Oh, like, maybe. Okay.
Like you host two artists together? Like
yes. It just has to be, however we set it up in the beginning with that. But yeah, I mean, I can definitely, I can put some people on the show. And Daleks is yelling for Pepper. Everybody's been yelling for Pepper.
I know. He's such a little superstar. That's why I put him in the comic book. I put Pepper in Aurora because I was like, I'm going to exploit my son. Yes, peeps. Yes.
Just like the birthday boy wants to know, when do we get the Pepper cover fighting rats?
I should draw that. You should. I don't know. I don't always feel like I'm great at drawing animals, but whatever. Like I said, like anytime I see Pepper or I look at Pepper, I think of Jay Fosgate drawing him because he just draws him so cute. Hold on. I'm going to show you guys. There's Pepper. He's in my book. I'm going to exploit him, make all the money. And I already made a little stamp of his paw. So if anybody at a con wants a Pepper signature, I can, that's his paw print. Because I'm ridiculous. When we can do cons again, when we're not in the middle of a plague.
Exactly. And Tanya went ahead and explained on here on the cover, Harley Quinn, Wonder Woman can't decide.
Oh, you mean two different characters? Yeah, that can be done.
We have to make a special.
Yeah, we might have to. That would have to be a special conversation, but yeah, it can be done. That's not a big deal.
And the Pepper Chibi is almost as good as the real thing.
Yeah, that was you guys can thank my writer buddy Wes who wrote Aurora, because his girlfriend Cassandra was like, it was a planned unlockable reward, but we didn't quite hit that one, and she was super bummed out. So he's like, can you just do it anyway? And I was like, all right, fine. So I was like, everybody got a bonus Pepper sticker. I was like, why not? So thank Wes and Cassandra for that one.
Now we're all excited. I mean, I know we are, because I'm speaking for everybody in the audience on this about your Kickstarter that's going to be coming up and everything. But if you want to know about these things before we're able to explain these right now and all, you need to get on the Patreon. And that's what I'd like to talk about now, because how fun is the Patreon? Now, it's kind of like Fight Club, though. You don't talk about Patreon is rule number one. Rule number two, you don't talk about Patreon. But we're going to talk a little bit about it.
Patreon's been fun. It's been interesting. I got sick with a kidney infection, so my schedule's been thrown off, and so I'm desperately trying to get everything realigned. So my patrons, thank you guys. They've been super, super sweet and chill about it, because I definitely I need to do the next drawing, which I actually haven't even posted the voting yet for who's going to be drawn, and I'm horrible. But it's been super fun. Honestly, I didn't realize how much fun the Discord chats were going to be every Friday night. So I'm only supposed to be on there for an hour, and it always devolves into at least 2-3 hours of nonsense. I have been avoiding drinking lately, again, just because of my kidney infection. But I'm like, okay, so when things get back to the roll a bit, it's always fun because everyone's always just being goofy and we're having drinks and talking nonsense. It's really bad because there's a lot of chicks in there, and when everyone's drinking and or taking of the green stuff, then it becomes then it kind of devolves into yelling out people who we think are attractive. I mean, that's literally what it turns into. Rihanna's so hot. It's so ridiculous. But it's super fun. It's super fun. And we get to talk about it. I mean, one time, who are we talking with that we were talking, or I don't remember who it was. Was it Perrin that we were talking about redecorating his office? I think it was literally 2 hours of like talking about Wayfair and IKEA. It was the weirdest. It was the weirdest 2 hours of my life. It's a bit like that, yeah. That's kind of like the after hours of anytime I do a live stream and do after hours. It just turns into nonsense until always. So
yes. And Joshua says the girls there are cray cray. I will let you know right now. It was the first or second time that I had been on the Discord chat, and I actually ended up being the last male in there. And I think there were 5 or 6 women in there, and they kept apologizing, saying, "We are so sorry. We are so sorry. If you want to leave," and I'm like, "Oh no, I'm having a blast." I was just sitting back enjoying y'all having fun. I mean, it was amazing.
Oh my god, it was so crazy.
How much is
Oh yeah, I mean, to join in on the Patreon, guys, it's only $5 a month. It's super, and you get a lot for it. Like all my friends are telling me I offer way too much crap for like $5 a month. But it's like at $5. I mean, you can get lower tiers. $1 will get you all the content for Carnal. $3 will get you some of the unlocked stuff, like you get the after hours live streams, and you get to vote in the polls on who gets drawn for the month. Blah 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 blah. But $5 is your best bang for your buck. It's $5. You get everything. You get works in progress, behind the scenes. You get to participate in the chats, and you also get tutorials and art tutorials from me, and also one-on-one reviews if you want it. So, yeah, there you go.
It is definitely worth it. Not just to get the behind the scenes, but I'm telling you right now, if you like having fun and just kicking back, relaxing, and laughing until tears come down, this is one of your places to do that for certain.
Yes, but we don't talk about Patreon.
No. I'm not bringing up subject matter. I'm just saying in general.
I gotta get better at advertising it too. The problem is that like there's just so much going on. I need somebody to be like
social director.
So I need a social director, somebody to take care of my social media for me because I'm garbage at it, I feel like.
Now, you bring up about the social media. That's going to be my next thing I actually want to talk to you about, is especially with the current times and everything that's been going on. And in some places it's slowing up a bit. Some other places it's starting to, revert back.
Mm-hmm.
What has the importance of social media been throughout all this?
I mean, to be honest, not much has changed for me other than not going to conventions. Which is sad, but the thing is I work a lot. And so, Brett and I are both pretty much workaholics. So we usually under normal circumstances, we would take a week to 2 weeks off once a year. That was like our big vacation. We'd splurge, like go to Lake Tahoe, go up to Maine, or the last big trip we took is we went to Scotland, which was super awesome. Other than that, it's like we just work constantly, and we would just go to cons. So on one end, it's like it's been kind of nice not having to go to cons because the travel can be very stressful and getting everything done in time. But on the other end, we don't socialize like in real life. And so I realized very quickly as the pandemic hit that, oh shit, like all my friends are con friends and I miss their faces. So I think I saw Ryan Kincaid like a million times in the last 2 years, and now I've seen him once this year, and it's freaking weird. Like I'm like, where's my brother? And same with Bill McKay for that matter, who you're having on next month, right? Yeah.
Yes, next month I'll have Bill McKay on. Yes.
Yeah. So it's been social media for me. It's like again, because I started putting a lot of my works in progress shots onto behind the paywall with Patreon. It's basically just been me like shit posting and posting covers that are already completed at the point. So I guess it's again, I'm in a weird circumstance. I get a lot of the socializing, I feel like, though, on Friday nights on the Discord, though. That's where I feel like really comfortable. I can just let my hair down and shoot the shit with everybody. So actually, God, this past Friday, we had a full house in that chat. It was crazy. I had so many people on. I was like, I'm having trouble keeping track of what everyone's saying, which is nice right now. I mean, I have I'm like terrified, like when eventually it gets to like at least like 50 people in the room. I don't know how the hell Phoebe's gonna be able to mod that. Like, that's gonna be crazy. So we'll see. Fingers crossed we get there, but we'll see.
Absolutely. Steph says, Phil got McKay. Holy crap, you're a genius, Phil. Steph, I'm just going to let you know and remind everybody else, 1 week from tomorrow, I have Steph Wilson as my guest.
Oh,
Yay.
that'll be fun.
So everybody needs to be here to heckle him. I mean, to support him as we go ahead and go through that interview.
Yes. Yeah. And I did want to mention, Joshua, yes, I will give you shit for only doing $3 and not doing $5 to get on the Discord. Which you like made an appearance last week and then like fucked off. Like, what the hell? He was like, I'm here too. Bye.
Come back.
These are the things you miss in Patreon. Don't miss these kind of things. So you mentioned about the cons.
Yes.
So I'm going to go ahead and bring up, what have been some of your favorite con memories that you've had?
I had a weird, awkward encounter at MegaCon Orlando a few years ago, but that was immediately followed up with me getting to have dinner with Stan Lee. So that was a good memory. That was totally weird. It's like the universe had to punish me before I got like a really awesome night. Let's see. I got to meet Ray Park way back in the day at its inky dinky little con in Dallas, Texas in 2007. But I got to like, it wasn't like in a line or anything. I got to like talk and chill with him, like, which was super cool. I remember when I was still an art assistant for Bob Layton, I got to meet Mark Silvestri and I geeked the hell out on him. That's like my fangirl stuff. Is that it for my fangirl stuff? Yeah, for conventions. I don't know. Most of the time I said conventions kind of like turn into like, for me, it's kind of like it's where I see a lot of my friends. So we all go out to dinner and have drinks. And, you know, I tend to host karaoke nights, like me and Fletcher from DC. Like he hosts New York and then I'll host Seattle and then I'll do like DC and he'll do another one. But like we host karaoke nights and at the cons, usually it's like a Friday or Saturday night, and then we invite a bunch of our creator friends and we all go drink way too much and sing very badly, or in some people's cases sing very well and put the rest of us to shame. So because like I can hold a tune, I would not call myself a singer.
I can do neither, so I'm not even gonna lie.
But yeah, it's fun.
Tanya wants to know, who do you fangirl over?
Oh my God, so many people. One of them actually, one of my biggest fangirls, I still fangirl, is Elias, and I'm gonna butcher his name. He's literally told me how to say his name, and I hate it, so I'm gonna butcher it. But it's like Hatsutis, because the C is silent. I know that. But Elias, every time I go to, he loves my dog, so it's a great, like Pepper is like a great pool. So it's like people will come. I'm like, yes, meet my dog. Like, come cuddle my dog, but really let me fan on you. But anytime I go to his table, I flip through his artwork, and I tell people anytime that an artist goes to another artist and starts cursing them out, that's when you know that they're really good, because they're just like, man, fuck you, your art, like, God damn it, like you're just pissed looking at all the glorious artwork. And so Kincaid and I would a lot of times go over to Elias's table and just start like getting mad at him. Like, how dare you be so good, you bastard. So Elias is probably my most recent, like the last few years, every time I geek out on him. Which, I mean, he's like the nicest guy too. He's super sweet and he's so talented, and he works on, we get him to do covers for our projects, which, blessing. Let's see, who else is there that I geek? Alan Qua is another one that I geeked out over. I've been talking to Brett about Alan for the last few years, and finally, Brett's gotten on the Alan Qua board or ship or whatever. So I'm just like, yes, Alan Qua. I remember I saw some of the ink work that Alan did. Whew, it's so good. It's got like that. I'm gonna geek out here for a minute. So like he's obviously Asian, but like to me his stuff like really reminds me of the ink work in like traditional Asian like calligraphy and painting, and he applies that kind of aesthetic to Western style artwork in comics, and it's so beautiful and there's so much depth to it and it's awesome. So he's another one. There's my two. I'll geek out for that.
Alan just did this fabulous cover for Johnny Cage's crossover.
Oh, I saw it. I know, it's so pretty. It's so pretty.
Very cool. And we've got, of course, Steph is saying he loves Elias. He is so cool. And Joshua had to throw in there, girls using dogs to get guys to come over, how the tables have turned.
See, Pepper is my ultimate plan to meet Chris Evans too, because he loves dogs. So I'm going to have Pepper with his, service harness on, and I will slip my cell phone number into the harness, but with something loud and bright on it. And I'm like, oh, would you like to meet my dog? And here's my number. So there you go. That's the plan. That's the goal. We'll see how it works out.
We will be watching for that one.
Yeah. Okay. I'm convinced the universe doesn't want me to meet him, because I've met other people. I've actually got to meet Robert Downey Jr. and I got to go on the set of Iron Man 2, which was super cool, and I got to meet Jon Favreau. Although that Roxanne, that's half of the spoiler from the movie during the crash. Yeah, but what's the race called?
Formula 1 race.
Monaco. Thank you, the Monaco race, and as cool as it was to meet, and it was really cool to meet Robert Downey Jr. because I had worked on Iron Man with Bob. And so it was cool. I got to work on the character, and I get to meet the character, or the actor playing the character. That's super sweet. I actually really enjoyed meeting Jon Favreau, the director, even more than meeting Downey, because one, he was super, super nice to me. And that's actually a funny story how he gave me that spoiler. I didn't want to he gave it to me early on in the day. I didn't want to carry it around the set. And so I was like, is it okay if I take this to my car? And he's like, yeah, sure, go ahead. So I started walking off the set with this hunk of metal, and security nearly tackled me because they thought that I was stealing from the set, until one of the guys was like, no, it's cool. John gave it to her. And I was like, awesome. So, yeah, he was really, really nice, very, very kind. And that was probably the favorite part of it. But yeah, so, besides obviously meeting, Tony Stark, but yeah.
Very cool. And Tanya is actually, she must be looking over my shoulder at my talking points here, because this is the next one up. Who haven't you worked with but is on your bucket list?
There's so many. There's, it's a little bit different too, right? Because I'm not doing, as I told you earlier, it's I'm not doing interiors anymore, just simply because I don't have the time to do it anymore. And so for me, it's more okay, I get to write something, and what artist do I get to be able to draw stuff for? At that point, it's mostly cover. So there's a massive list of cover artists that I would kill to get onto Carnal or Aurora. A lot of times it's just sometimes it's cost prohibitive for me. Sometimes it's schedule prohibitive for them. Fortunately, because of Carnal's success and Brett and my goodwill with people, so we fortunately have a lot of quote unquote access to people that we want to work with. It's just a matter of finding the right time to do it in the right tonal project and stuff like that. So, right. I've been lucky enough to actually work with quite a few people who have been on my bucket list. So, people pending, I cannot say, Tanya, because there is a pending list that these are people who have agreed to do covers for me, and I can't be they're gonna do it. So, but like I said, we've been very fortunate that we have access to people, and that they've agreed to grace my little book with their beautiful artwork. So
absolutely. And one of them is, of course, Coffin Comics, and you've done quite a bit with them.
Mm-hmm.
There are times whenever you may not make the Kickstarter project or something like that, but they have another project that'll come up later on that surprises me, because I'm like, okay, where's the Sorah? It's not on here. And then they come up with this 3-day weekend, whatever, big sale that's going on. It's only for 3 days. And I'm like, damn it, there it is.
Well, part of that's also, I've been doing, Brian's talked about this on his stuff. So it's I've actually been doing a lot of Coffin Comics work for the last, how many months now? Since
this whole year.
Yeah, but it started really hard in April, essentially. No, it was March. No, you're right. We did start in February, March. Yeah, so starting February, March, I've been pumping out covers for Brian. It's been super fun. They've all been thematically themed, and they haven't been necessarily project themed. And so thematically themed. That's what I just said. That happened. NyQuil 2020. But they all have like specific themes, and then versus like a project theme, as in like a book theme kind of a thing. And so, but I am on the new Hell Witch that that is coming on Wednesday, right?
Right.
Yeah, it's coming on Wednesday. Yeah. I did a Richard Ortiz homage, which was super awesome because I love Richard Ortiz. And so when he asked me, how do you feel about doing this? You know, and it's so funny because that particular Lady Death that he had me homage for Hell Witch is like Brett's favorite Richard Ortiz thing he's done ever. So it was like, oh, this is like fortuitous. And so I was like, hell yeah, I'll do it. And so that's been super fun. Ceci Dela Cruz colored it. It looks really great. She's like one of the best butt colorists, I swear to God. Like she knows how to color butts in such a way. Because like Richard did this kind of like butt oriented Aurora cover for us, and it's super pretty. But like when Ceci showed us the colors, we were like, that butt. Like you're just like drawn to that booty. Not that that's the point of Aurora, because she's a good girl, but still, that butt. So, anyway.
As long as you have a focal point, I mean, it works.
Yeah, thematically themed stuff, exactly. Shut up.
Just remember, I want to go ahead and bring this up real quick because, you know, Steph he's not forgetting this. However, I want everyone to know, and Sorah knows now as well because she's going to plan on being here. 1 week from tomorrow, I have Steph on to interview, and we're going to have all kinds of fun in the audience going on with that one, I am certain. It is payback time.
Yeah, focal points.
And Angry Artist in the House, William Russell, thank you for being here, says whatever sells the cover.
Yes to those two. Anyways, so I sold the original art to Hell Witch, so it's gone. I can't show it.
Yeah. We still have it.
No, you sent it to him, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. You better have sent it to him.
I sold a version.
Oh, you sold a version. That's right. I have the other version,
Which isn't public.
so I can't show you guys. There's two versions to that cover, and unfortunately, I can't show you guys. I'm sorry. That's the one thing I actually miss about cons too, is that I am sitting on a mountain of original artwork, and I do not have like the proper apparatus to sell this shit. And I'm used to selling all my OA like that at cons, and I am sitting on a literal mountain of original artwork that I'm like, somebody buy this off of me. But like, I'm doing so much that I'm horrible at listing things. And yeah, so I don't know. We'll see. I gotta figure some things out.
Well, not to mention.
So if someone wants to get some of your original art, do they just go ahead and reach out to you directly? Reach out to Brett? How do they do that?
Reach out to Brett, because
Okay.
he is the keeper of all things, and he prices everything. I don't price anything. I'm horrible at pricing stuff. It makes me very uncomfortable to price things. I don't know if all artists are like that, but I'm definitely like that, where I'm just like, I don't know. Well, because the thing is that I was trained by Bob Layton. I got some mentoring from Dick Giordano, and Dickie taught me to let things go. And he said, don't ever get married to any one piece of artwork, because you're always going to draw something else later. So he's like, sell it, just constantly sell your shit. And so like for me, I'm like, yeah, take it. It's like $100. And Brett's like, no, it needs to be higher. And I'm like, okay. So, well, Brett has a website. He's got his Blue Rainbow website, and I have my website. I usually do list stuff on there, but I haven't had time to update anything. And then so much of the stuff that I've been doing is not out. Like I said, I've been doing at least 2-3 covers for Brian for the last like 6 months, and only one of them. Oh no, 2 of them. 2 of them have come out. That's it. And the third one's this Hell Witch one. But I've been doing like a crap ton of covers, and just for other projects too. I mean, granted, I did do that cover for Chad Harden, the Mark May book, Hellbringer. So that came out recently. So I do have that original art if anybody wants that. But yeah, huh? I did do Yule's Vision. Has that been out yet?
Yeah.
Which one was that? No, but which one was that?
That was
the negative space one?
Yeah.
Oh, that was the negative space one. Okay, whatever. Anyways, I'm babbling. So yeah. So I have a mountain of artwork that I need to get sold. So
Now, are you taking commissions or doing anything like that right now?
No, so I'm actually shamefully finishing out I have 4 more. I have 4 more commissions to get done by next Wednesday, because I need to get my commissions list cleared before I start my Kickstarter, because I am going to be opening up sketch opportunities on my Kickstarter for my art book. And there's going to be an early bird special on that, FYI. So like, if you guys want to get a discount on some sketch cover stuff for my art book, that's the time to do it. Otherwise, and there's going to be limited slots. I don't know how many. That's all Brent's purview. But there's going to be limited slots. So get on there, get on there early. We'll do a preview of it. The preview of the tiers probably Monday or maybe the night before Tuesday. Then so there's going to be different tiers of it. I'm only going to be doing headshots, busts, except for the original art 1-of-1 covers. Like that'll have a little bit more flexibility. But the sketches are basically going to be either headshots, busts, or maybe torsos. I don't quite know yet. But we'll have opportunities for that, and that's kind of about it. But I mean, on those, you can literally ask me to sketch anything, so it's whatever. Although I do try to avoid video game characters, only because those costumes are not designed to be drawn repeatedly. So there's so many little tchotchke details on them, it drives me crazy. It's like worse than lace. At least with lace, I can fake it. I can just like sit there and doodle and make lace.
As long as you're good with feathers, because we need someone who will draw feathers, because apparently, someone out in the audience, Steph Wilson, won't do that, doesn't like doing feathers. So, I mean, we need somebody who will do feathers at least.
Oh, I draw feathers. I drew feathers on Hell Wish. Yeah. Feathers are easy. You just like, come on. Really? Come on, Steph. They're geometric. You got this. Their feathers are even easier when you're just doing Copics too, because then you can just do a couple little, and then you're done. So easy. It's like drawing hair at that point. So easy.
So you can read right there.
What?
Feathers suck.
And hearing a lot of excuses there. And Angry Artist says feathers are crazy easy. So there you go.
They are. That's the thing. It's like it's a pretty simple shape. It's like, you just do it's like drawing. Yeah, and then you just create notches in it, right? I'm just saying, just create notches in the damn shape stuff. Come on, get your shit together.
If you're wanting some artwork from Steph Wilson, make sure ask for feathers. He
ask for feathers.
Yeah, right.
Ask for feathers. Yeah. Steph, you're awful. He said, leave it to the colorist. You're so awful. I don't do that. I can't do that. That's why it's like I draw my lace, I draw my details. I do not leave that to the colorist, because that's just cruel. Colorists are already underpaid as it fucking is. So I'm just like, I'm not gonna punish them for that shit.
Exactly. And yeah.
Took that right out of my mouth. Just so you know.
That's awesome. Your girlfriend wins.
Oh yeah. She's a keeper. Now, I could keep you on here all night. We can keep going with this, but I'm going to go ahead and we're going to shut this down for tonight. But go ahead and give us last audible where we can find you on this, and give us a last pitch on Saints and Sinners so we can be ready for this next week.
Okay, so you can find me on social media at Sorah Sung, which is my name right there. There you go. And that's on everything. If you want to adjust my art page on Facebook, it's Sorah Sung Art. But all social media, it's going to be at Sorah Sung. And then next week is going to be my Kickstarter for Saints and Sinners, and it's going to be a 48-page art book. So it's a thicker book, and it's my very, very first art book. My very first. It's like baby's very first bottle or whatever. So it's my very first one. I'm very excited about it. I'm a little nervous. We'll see how it goes. So hopefully everybody likes it. And we got some fun permission from some different companies and creators that I can use the covers I've done for them to put in the book. I will leave it at that. So yeah, there you go. There's my pitch. Oh, and join my Patreon at www.patreon.com/Sorah Sung. There you go.
Yes, do not miss out on the Patreon, and don't go for that $3. Just go ahead and do the $5.
$5. It's worth it. Worth the price. Trust me. You get all the goodies. You get all the artworks, all the power. and all the privileges at $5.
Exactly. Thank you very much for being here, Sorah. I'm going to put you in the green room for right now, do my closing statements, and I will be with you shortly.
Okay. Thank you, honey.
All right. All right. So we had Sorah Sung up here, had a great interview with her tonight on Hell of a Show. Hope all of you enjoyed that. I always have a closing statement. Tonight's not going to be any different than that. And I've actually got a few things that I want to go over very quickly. Number one, again, reminding you, Philip Russert has a birthday today. You need to go over to his page, please, and just slam him with every Nightcrawler picture that you can come up with from X-Men, and just go ahead and tell him happy birthday. That's his favorite character, and I'm not trolling him on this one. That's actually his favorite character. So definitely make sure that you go ahead and let him know happy birthday and send some Nightcrawlers over there. And I'll be looking at that later on because I've got to send him a special happy birthday later on, just from me, because he was so nice on my birthday, so I have to return the favor. So definitely go over there, wish him a happy birthday, and send some Nightcrawlers. Steph, you brought it up. I'm going to go ahead and bring it up here real quick. Love that tee. That is my other thing that I'm going to go ahead and let you know is that we do have the DemoNation t-shirts are available. The link will be embedded into the links as well, into the feeds, so that you can go over there and get that. But these are the official DemoNation t-shirts by Steph Wilson. So if you haven't gotten them, grab those while they are still hot. You do not want to miss out on these. And they will be featured in a comic in the near future. Can't say any more than that. But definitely want to get them because they're going to be out there with a few more things. So last thing I want to bring up is the actual comment to finish off with the closing statement. Usually I try to bring it up by what's based on, with my guests tonight and everything. There is one that I thought about this week that has come to my attention that I want to go ahead and bring up and let y'all all kind of mull over out there, is don't let someone take away your light because it takes away your path. So whenever you think about that, just think about that for a moment. If they take away your light, you can't stay on your path. Don't let anyone go ahead and put anything negative in your way to block your path. Everyone's got a path to go somewhere to do something, whether we choose to go right, left, positive, negative, it's all a choice. And the people that we go ahead and associate with as well, all a choice. Now, that doesn't mean to go and unfriend everybody that you've got on here. By no means, I'm not advocating that. What I'm saying is lean more towards the positive. Let's get more positivity out there and make sure that everyone starts working more in the positive. I've always said it with all my shows, and I'll finish it off right here tonight. One pebble thrown into a pond, you get a ripple. You get enough people throwing pebbles and rocks into the pond, you get the waves of change. So stay positive, keep moving forward, keep it indie, y'all. Till next time.